Okay, welcome back, guys. We are Oceanic Tournament's February feud. I am Ranconius. This is Invisi. And we're finally into our second game of the semi-final round in DarkWolf versus the Scrubz. The Scrubz are going to be on the purple team this time with DarkWolf over on towards the blue side. Bands coming out thick and fast this time. Trundle band out. Yasuo and Nasus for DarkWolf. Scrubz taking away Dr. Mundo and Cassidy so far. So nothing unexpected except for maybe that Trundle.
Yeah, well, Trundle's been a very strong pick lately. Sorry, just let me write down these bands. Nasus. What are the purple side bands?
Sorry, the purple side bands, Dr. Mundo, Cassidy, and Kha'Zix rounds out the 6. But blue side, Trundle, Yasuo, and Nasus, which means Renekton is available. He's one of those top 3 on the list. And that means that Renekton has been locked in, and he's our first pick for DarkWolf.
Yeah, well, the Mundo ban, not surprising given what happened last game. But like you said, the Renekton left open was actually banned last game and immediately first picked. So, yeah, not really surprising. Very, very strong champion, and he'll probably do well this game. We'll see who he's up against.
Now, Renekton, of course, was one of those 3. Mundo was banned out, leaving only which champion? Invisi. Oh, no, wait, it's going to be a switch. Hang on. They're hovering onto Darius here.
Darius? There we go. There's someone I haven't seen in a while.
There we go. It'd be interesting to see if Hungry Angry Asians plays this. I know he's a bit of an Aatrox fan in top lane. I have some background on him. I've seen him play a lot on the Cybergamer ladder when they normally have that on. But Vi will be locked in for Dornish.
Vi will be locked in.
And Darius is now locked in. So it is going to be a Darius-Renekton matchup.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Like, Darius is definitely a very strong pick that kind of fell off the radar. He just does so much damage. He just has so much innate damage. You build Sunfire Cape, you build a little bit of tanky, you can build a little bit of damage, but honestly, even without building damage items, you just do so much damage. It's obscene.
Absolutely. But right now, it's going to be a Jinx lock-in for Darien C96 right now. And it looks like Xtronics quite happy with that Lee Sin pick, playing it to great success in the last game.
Alright, so yeah, back on the Lee Sin, and another standard 80 carry. We saw Lucian last game, and this game we see Jinx, so no real surprises there from either of those picks. Absolutely,
and they're now both locked in. Genevieve hovering on towards the Heimerdinger. I have seen some Heimerdinger strategies work. Takes a specific comp, but no, that was a troll hover. He's going to switch over on towards that Orianna right now. We're seeing no locked-ins, but we saw a Caitlyn hover and a Sivir hover. They're currently contemplating their mid and ADC.
Alright, well, I guess we'll wait and see who gets locked in. The Orianna combo, the Orianna wouldn't be surprising to see, especially with that Vi already locked in. The Assault and Battery into Shockwave combo, very, very potent at picking off whoever you want to.
Absolutely right now. 20 seconds left on this pick set. Are they going to be happy with that Orianna-Sivir combo that they're currently hovering on? And Sivir kind of works a little bit better for the Darius pick.
Yeah, so like that's actually something I didn't immediately think of, but yeah, you're right. Darius is often cited as his main weakness is being kited, and having a Sivir ult to go in with that would really help avoid that. So yeah, the Sivir Darius combo very potent.
I'm interested to see this one actually coming out from 100 Angry Asians, because even when Aatrox hasn't been a strong top laner, he's been one to always play him up there. So, interestingly enough, he likes these different champions, something that's not quite as strong on the current patch.
Well, it's not even that it's not quite as strong, it's just not quite as popular. There may be several reasons for that. It might not be just because it's not 100% as strong, it can still, you can still match up to the current flavor of the month champions, and you can still do very well, and you can still win a lot of games with just champions that you don't see very often. And then you also have the surprise factor of people just don't know the matchups as well as they know the more played matchups.
Absolutely, but right now that means that the last 2 lock-ins are going to come in out from the side of DarkWolf, and their comp is going to consist of that Renekton, the Lee Sin, Jinx, Kale, and Thresh. So a lot of aggression gets Thresh this game.
Yeah, so I assume the Sivir Orianna was locked in?
Absolutely, Sivir Orianna was locked in, and then currently an Any Hover as well.
Okay. Yeah, Sivir Annie, a very high damage lane, so yeah. And some good crowd control from Annie, and whereas the more standard Jinx Thresh just
something I just thought of. This Sivir composition with an Annie and a Darius works really well because both of them kind of, Flash Hook, Flash Tibbers are really strong, but there's two people that don't have to use Flash unless they really want an instant initiation.
Yeah, so there's just... Is that on Annie locked in yet?
Annie has now been locked in.
Annie has been locked in. So, yeah, there's just a lot of initiate on the side of Scrubz. There's the Annie Tibbers is the main one, and also the Assault and Battery into Shockwave combo is great. Darius is not so much an initiator as he is kind of a follow-up initiator. So once, for example, if the Tibbers has landed down, he can use that time to get into range and then land a pull. Or if the Assault and Battery Shockwave comes down, and he can use that time to make his way into the fight and land a pull and just bring everyone closer for the damage. But if they do manage to get all those ultimates off together, that would be scary. But
ooh, Tibbers, Shockwave, Demacia. Oh, is it Noxian Guillotine? Wow.
Yeah.
That is a ton of damage.
That's a lot of damage. I'd be scared. I not gonna lie, I would be a little bit scared. But that's not to put anything against DarkWolf's team. They have a little less mobility this time. Lee Sin and Renekton the only one that can really dash around. But a lot of damage, particularly late game scaling in the Jinx Kale. Very, very high, two very high damage carries there, late game carries. Kale, though, with her recent nerfs, not quite as big of a lane bully, not quite as big of a burst mage, but still has a lot of sustained damage with that Righteous Fury.
And right now, the important part is that intervention has just been changed, costs 0 money. You can cast that at any stage.
Yeah, so, well, the important thing for Scrubz is that you can't cast intervention while you're crowd controlled. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to burst Kale, just crowd control lock the team, and just make sure they can focus Kale down before she can get her ultimate off.
Absolutely. Right now, guys, this is the second game of the best of 3. And right now, DarkWolf, that's your blue team, the guys that you're looking at. You're looking at Renekton, Lee Sin, Kale, Jinx, and that Thresh. They are 1 game up. Can they take this out right now? Can they progress to that final against Orbit Prime? Orbit Prime is still yet to see a game out of course. They got the bye through the first round, and they managed to pick up a forfeit as well, taking them directly through the grand final. So they've been sitting around watching absolutely everything that's going on, and they'll have information on their opponent's teams.
Yeah, and Orbit Prime, definitely a very, very scary team. You don't want to mess with them. Many high-level players on that team. So definitely going to be a tough final for whichever of these teams makes it through.
Absolutely. I remember watching so much of Destiny back when he was on Seraphic Nexus and some of the players that he made. He's certainly a strong player. So I'm interested to see what comes out of him. But can these teams, with a Darius pick from 100 Angry Asians, can we see something like that upset absolutely everyone and people just, like you said, don't know that matchup?
Well, there's always the potential for it, absolutely. Like, yeah, when you have these picks that you don't see in a while, you never know as a player or as a caster what's going to happen. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to watch. It'll be good.
Certainly a huge amount of damage threat at that level 6. And in that top lane, if he can get snowballing, both of these top laners are fairly snowball champs.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say either of them are hard snowballers. They're nothing like a Riven, for example, who really kind of relies on that snowball and punishes you to the ground if you do get snowballed. But both of them can function from behind, unlike like heavy snowball champions. But yeah, both Renekton and Darius, if they get a lead, they will hammer you really, really hard, and just lots of damage in both of their kits, particularly Darius. Just yeah, just damage. It's the one word that comes to mind when I think of Darius is just damage. Lots and lots of damage.
Absolutely right now as we get into the loading screen of our second game. Again, that Thresh pickup, but we haven't seen any level 1 aggression at all today.
No, we haven't, which is I don't know. In one regard, it's kind of disappointing because it's always really exciting to see those amazing level 1 fights, but on a different note, it's very interesting to see the strategic choices that different teams make. So the defensive formations, the reactions to invades, all the different level 1 strategies. It's interesting to see how they work and how they play out against each other. So I'll be interested to see what happens this game.
Alrighty, so I'm being told this game that we have to say tons of damage.
Tons
because
of
there
damage.
is tons of damage. You've got Jinx, you've got Kayle, you've got Lee Sin. Renekton doesn't certainly do very little damage. Vi does tons of damage. Orianna does tons of damage. Let's look at the queen of tons of damage herself, Annie. And then you've got a Darius who's certainly trying to decimate his opponents.
I think you've just punned me out for the evening. I'm sorry.
You're stuck with me.
I can't take it anymore.
You're stuck with me. We've got some awesome games coming right at you guys. Don't go anywhere. This is Oceanic Tournaments' February feud. Now it's time for a little bit of shout out once again to those sponsors. Tesoro Gaming, Hardware have been supporting a great. They're really supporting the Oceanic scene as well. They support a couple of communities, and it's great to see a company like this supporting them. So scroll down beneath the stream, guys. Click on their logo. That'll take you directly to their website. But also, we have to thank Casual Gamers Group tonight because they're sponsoring some of this prize pool. And a big thank you to those guys. You can catch them over at facebook.com/casualgg. We want to try and get them up to 100 likes on that page tonight alone. And then we'll be probably running a few more tournaments based off them. And, the more you send out in their direction, the more they can bring back towards us, which is always good. We always want to see that Oceanic scene grow. But,
So just loading into the game, so we'll see what the teams choose to do for their starting items and their starting formations.
Absolutely. Kayle, interestingly enough, going with that crystalline flask.
Yeah, so that's probably everyone else has kind of picked up the standard Doran's item or for their lane, or for the jungle, the Hunter's Machete, and the gold items for bottom supports, which they're basically the equivalents of Doran's items for their roles. So. But the Crystalline Flask on Kayle is definitely a good pickup, also with a mana potion, so just a good mix of health and mana regen there. Kayle Orianna is not a matchup I can say I've played too much of. I don't really play much of either of those champions. I've played a little bit of Orianna, and from what I can tell, it's a matchup Orianna kind of wins out in the early lane, simply because in the early game, before Kayle gets a lot of cooldown reduction, you can abuse the downtime on her Righteous Fury, her E, her ranged auto attacks. So it's 10 seconds of uptime and 6 seconds of downtime with no cooldown reduction. So Orianna can kind of take it's a very small window, but Orianna can kind of use that window and kind of lay some harass down in that time. A lot better than other champions can, at least. So, yeah, Crystalline Flask just to be able to stay in the lane, sustain, and some recall spam coming out, and just a standard start. Bot side buffs for both junglers, potentially looking towards a level 3 at top.
Absolutely, but certainly from Kayle, she's just had that entire change a little bit to her kit. We mentioned before that the mana cost on her ultimate's gone, but she got some scaling along to the heal and a little bit less. Was it on the slow on the patch notes?
So her Q, which is her main damage spell, and her slow got reduced from a 1.0 ratio down to a 0.6 ratio. So that was it. Yeah, Kayle got heavily nerfed in this patch. So just mainly her burst damage was nerfed, but she still has a lot of sustained damage if she can get, once she gets some items, and she'll still hyperscale into late game.
I mean, it's all about that passive, that hyperscaling you mentioned, but she has way too much utility to have that kind of burst as well.
Yeah, a lot of people have been commenting on the problem being Lichbane. A lot of champions being able to abuse that item. So you know, we'll see what happens. But at the moment, we're on 4.2, and it is what it is. So
gotta play the game.
We'll see how it plays out this game.
You can't change the rules of golf on the day of a golf game. You can only change them afterwards. But in the meantime, he takes a lot of poke in that mid lane, does Kayle. In a little bit of trouble right now.
Yeah, but he does, like we commented, he does have that crystalline flask, so he will be able to stay in that lane and just regen up through all those flask charges. And also Lee Sin coming in for a gank.
Absolutely, Xtronic is right here, right now. He wants to make a gank on towards Jenny View. Jenny View is going to be forced to use that flash. There it is, gets a nice distance away. But Lee Sin dashes on towards the Igniter's going down. The barrier comes out. Will it be saving enough? Vi is now here. Assault and Battery comes out as well. Sorry, not Assault and Battery, the Vault Breaker. Wrong ability. Too early in the game for that one, but turns it around as Lee Sin. Another Sonic Wave Resonating Strike combo. The red buff doing the work. Not quite enough work, and both champions will get out here. All four champions, but certainly an advantage swinging back towards Kayle.
Yeah, and in the top lane, Darius going for a dive on Renekton, taking him very, very low with that Ignite and the bleed stacks. But Lee Sin coming in behind him after he took a few tower shots.
Yeah, and Renekton still has... Oh my god, Darius was sitting there just doing nothing. He's stunned up now. He takes way too much damage. He's going to hook Gorshi on towards him, but there is the first blood. He was looking
I think he just accepted his fate there. Or perhaps the spectator bug again.
Could be a spectator bug, could be a game bug in general. We'll have to wait and see. Game has continued on, so it was just a spectator bug by the look of it.
Yeah, so I thought he was just sitting there accepting his fate. It's like, oh, Lee Sin's here. But no, it was just a spectator bug. But despite the early advantage Darius accrued in that lane with the health differential, Renekton actually out-farming him quite noticeably.
And an important item pickup for him right now is that Giant Spell.
Yeah, so that's Darius. You think he'd be mostly physical damage, but honestly, his passive actually, the hemorrhage stacks. Sorry, I was thinking of Hemoplague. That's Vlad's ultimate. Yeah, the hemorrhage actually does magic damage, and that does a lot of damage. So Darius actually has a reasonable amount of mixed damage, and he has all three forms of damage in. You know, the physical damage of his basic abilities, the magic damage of his passive, and the true damage of his ultimate. So, health really the best stat to build if you want to survive against Darius.
Right now, we're sitting here and we're enjoying the absolute best of spectator client bugs right now. I don't know, I'm loving this. We're going to see this.
I heard it's something like the server that does spectator mode. So while the players aren't experiencing any lag, the spectator server is screwing up. So
Kayle could be in a little bit of trouble right now, but we're not going to be able to tell. We can't.
We'll tell when it decides to sort itself out. So Kayle's still maxing that Q despite the nerfs. There was no base damage nerfs, so she'll still get just as much out of maxing it as she used to.
Absolutely. And an important part about it was it applies instantly as soon as it hits that stack on the passive.
Yeah, so Kayle's passive, it's kind of a... I don't actually know exactly what to make of it, but let's see if we can get back into... Can we see anything now? No. Okay, never mind.
Okay, so we're just going to, enjoy dealing with this one right now, but let's run over these Kayle nerfs again. Was it the speed buff that was buffed on the Kayle heal? Or was it the heal itself?
I think I have a feeling it's both. I believe they added a 0.02 ratio to the movement speed on her heal and also increased the AP ratio on the actual heal to 0.45 from 0.35. I'm not actually sure it needed a buff in my opinion, but again coming in the top lane.
Yeah, and Xtronic takes a bunch of damage. Darius hooks him back in. Renekton pops the Dominus, and he's going to be looking to try and get a kill right here. Darius is in a huge amount of trouble. Renekton slowly taking him out. Eventually gets there. Another turret shot. The stacks on the bleed. Can they pick him up? The minions! No, Renekton lives with literally 9 health.
Wow. So, Darius actually not quite level 6, not able to get that execute damage off.
Oh, if he was level 6, that would have been a double.
Yeah, exactly. So a very well-timed gank there. And you saw at the start that he nearly turned it around. That decimate his spin does... That's a lot of AoE damage. So Darius probably, very high, very reasonable potential for 2v1 turnarounds in the top lane. So, Yeah, Lee Sin doing very well to kind of dash around and dash in and out of range to dodge as much damage as he could. So very, very well played there.
Absolutely. Right now, there was a ping down on the Baron by the Dragon, the Baron of the early game. You could
A little bit. It's not even there yet.
It gives you a gold. You get a gold buff for the rest of the game. It's kind of like the Baron, except more important because gold buff for the rest of the game. Dark guys, clearly Dragon great up Baron Nashor. You have to sit here and cast with me for the rest of the night. You know that, right?
Well, technically I don't. I think I'm going to anyway.
Alright, so he's still here, which is important, but again goes down towards the bot lane. Wingman is in tons of trouble. The Jinx damage coming out is way too much right there. And that means a kill right here for Jinx. Renekton 2-0, and now it's 3-0 team-wide.
A little bit of a brawl in the top lane, but I think they're just going to be bashing heads for a bit longer. They'll just kind of sit there punching each other every couple of seconds, and just kind of eventually one of them might fall over, but we'll make sure we catch it before they do.
Interesting to note right here the positioning in this mid lane. Kayle trying to get Orianna to go on her down towards the river.
Yeah. And looks like it's about to work.
There it is. The positioning change was all they needed. Lee Sin tried to ward hop and then kick back in, but Jenny instantly
preemptive flash from Orianna made sure he couldn't get the kick off. But Lee Sin looks like he's coming for a wraparound. No, never mind. He's just going to go and do the blue buff.
Kayle might end up.
He was actually taking that for himself last game, so whether he keeps that or donates it off to Kayle will be interesting to see. It looks like he might be keeping it for himself.
Looks like
so he's
level
doing that. Lee Sin, I must admit, not a champion I've played to extent, so I'm not familiar with his energy management, but I have heard he has a tendency to run out of energy if you can't auto-attack, so...
Shockwave is going to go down directly on towards Kayle. They have the ultimate, remember, it can be cast from all mana positions, but the Assault Battery comes out, and there's the intervention! Kayle is in a lot of trouble, manages to get over the wall, but Lee Sin picks up Orianna in the meantime.
And a fight in the bot lane as well.
Absolutely going down, and Jinx's Super Mega Death Rocket ends up being the Super Mega Death of that enemy.
And Lee Sin's still chasing Vi through the top jungle.
And there's a fight in the top lane as well. It's going on everywhere. Renekton trying to do all the work he can. He's ignited right now and taking so much bleed damage. Lee Sin manages to pick up Vi, and now he's come up here to the top lane. He's looking to get on towards 100 engagements, eats the Sonic Wave, Resonating Strike, and that Tempest is more than enough for that guy.
Yeah, Lee Sin now 3-0-3, so sitting on 1.5k gold. So he's gonna have some damage to pick up when he gets back. And the bot lane turret also going down, so a lot of gold just swung in the favor of DarkWolf in the last minute or two.
They're very low right down here in the bot lane right now. Sivir does have On the Hunt if she so chooses to go in, but there's no Annie there at all. Annie's there now, but she's only level 5, no tip has dropped. And what's Goatrat gonna pick up here? 3k gold, wow! He is huge.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so I'd imagine a Bloodthirster, he has just enough for that. But Lee Sin has just picked himself up. He's finished the Spirit of the Old Lizard and has also picked him up mobility boots once again.
Oh, so, look at him moving around that map.
He's fast. He's going to be out to make plays. And Jinx has also picked up that straight up Bloodthirster, as we mentioned.
Good luck, Silver and Annie. You have to try and deal with that one.
Yeah, that's a 2-0 Jinx, so a little bit scary.
Important to note right now, Purple Team's bot lane is Mia, and they're roaming around this Dragon Pit, but Lee Sin's coming into mid lane. The Shockwave brings Kayle in range of the turret, but that's a rampage for Extronic. He kicks away Dornish, but gets Tibbers dropped immediately on him. The intervention to come out of Kayle. Is she going to be the one to chase? It is also going to be On the Hunt popped by Sivir. They can't directly get on towards it. Dornish is trying his best to get rid of Kayle. He's trying to do as much damage as possible. Kayle's waiting on cooldowns and mana right now. Renekton has roamed down, and they won't be able to pick this one up with the arrival of Renekton.
Yeah, the ping came down in the call from Darius to say that Renekton was coming down, but Annie stayed a bit too long.
Out of position and taking so much damage. One combo from Renekton, all 3 of his main abilities, over half HP damage.
Yeah, that's a bit scary. Annie not yet picking up the health item, and she's just sitting on less than 840 max health. So yeah, very, very vulnerable to burst damage.
level 6 as well, compared to all those higher levels on the top side of the map.
Yeah, so usually you do expect your duo lane to be a bit behind on levels, but Annie's even further behind than everyone else, so yeah, struggling a bit there. Really needs to get some levels under her belt.
Especially when you look at that leveling on the Goat Rat. He's already level 8. He's 1 level away from having that switcheroo maxed.
Yeah, so an interesting choice there. I actually prefer the switcheroo max on Jinx, but the zap max is also quite common and does do a lot of burst damage if you can land it.
But Lee Sin finds out on towards that Vi. Does he have the damage?
And Renekton coming around the back as well.
Oh, it just pops the Dominus and just goes straight in. That is
wow,
more than enough, and now they're going to dive deeper on towards Orianna. Lee Sin flashes over the wall, and Kayle picks the one up there with a very nice cue.
That was just great coordination all round from DarkWolf. Just every portion of the map, just... Oh, and Annie. Oh, poor Annie, you are...
Oh, she drops Tibbers, but look at what that does. It is now 12 for 0, and this game just turning into an absolute stomp right here for DarkWolf.
Yeah, so they're gonna go pick up the dragon, but yeah, this game's kind of run away with itself a bit, so I would be very, very surprised if Scrubz can manage to turn this around.
Certainly not.
Although I have said that before tonight.
Yeah, they were, you know, a long way in front in that first game of the last round, and almost threw it away with that bush.
But Vi looking to go into the dragon, but...
Here we go. All the damage towards Xtronic. Dornish is in a little bit of trouble. He's gone down. That Shockwave does find awful people, but Jenny View is in trouble, trying to get on towards Lee Sin. He's not going to get him, and they pick up another kill, and now it's the chase onto the rest of the team, and Siva, you're in trouble, baby. You're not getting out of there alive, or is she? All the flashes more than enough. 100 Angry Asians now shows up to the fight. He's going to have a Darius ultimate, and they have to be careful with resets. Oh, doesn't get the...
Oh, no.
Jinx pops the barrier, but that means that Lee Sin has finally died. Gorshi gets the double dash to try and get himself out. He's ignited and ticking with both of those dots, but that's going to be the first kill of the game for...
Yeah, Darius really needed that reset there. He would have been able to go dunk, 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 dunk. But unfortunate that he just didn't quite have enough damage. He needed to get a few more bleed stacks in to increase the damage of his ultimate.
Absolutely. But Dornish is on the Vi, on the purple team, is going to say that everyone should be reporting Lee Sin for his feeding in that fight. Absolutely disgraceful.
Just oh my gosh. Please, Lee Sin, you're letting your team down.
Absolutely, it's even good. Like it's good to see that even though the losing team, they're behind and they're behind by a long way. They're not, they're having fun here. They're not trying to just rage about the game. They're going, okay, we screwed up in a few different places. We're gonna have fun with this game either way, and we'll probably analyze it afterwards.
Yeah. Well, that's really the most important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, don't play a game if you're not gonna have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. Don't rage, guys.
But Duskish picks himself up actually a blue buff onto that Siva, and it looks like he's going to be donated this red buff. No, Dornish says, no, that'll be mine, thank you.
Did they actually switch roles from the previous game, or am I
Duskish, I think, could be mid lane.
I don't know.
Wingman's top lane. Angry Asian going to play top lane for them, but...
Okay. Yeah, I haven't kept up with the changes, but Vi getting caught out in our jungle, just gonna Vault Breaker over the wall and get out.
She's got that mobility and she can do that sort of thing. But where do we see the next kill? Who wants to see one in this bot lane? Can Annie and Siva not 1v2 on towards this Jinx, or can they do it?
I'd look in the mid lane. Looks like this tower...
Oh, Sonic Wave! Lee Sin's diving deep. The Assault and Battery comes out from Vi as well. They're diving deeper towards this turret. The Shockwave comes out, and that is an important intervention. Xtronic is able to just tank this turret for absolute days. And now they're going to disengage. The Tibbers comes out, but it's only on towards Lola Aggression. Wingman taking a bunch of damage. The Super Mega Death Rocket does miss in the end, but a nice set of traps. Siva walks through them with the Spell Shield, and now Goat Rat is on the run, but he's being hunted down by the Siva. The flash into the Vault Breaker. The red buff now on to Goat Rat. He is forced to drop the ward and try and run away this way. In comes Kayle. They're going to try and turn it back around. Oh, the Boomerang Blade just manages to pick it up for Duskish, and Kayle is the only one to live from that side. And there we go. 3 kills finally back in their opponent's favor.
Yeah, so well played there. That was a good fight, and now they need about 10 more. But yeah, that's a good turn of momentum. So if they can keep it up, they might be able to hold on a bit longer. But looking at the item disparity now, we've got a Brutalizer and Sunfire Cape on Renekton, whereas Darius is still building the components of his Sunfire Cape. Both junglers with their spirit items been ticking on that away for a while now. Lee Sin with 191 bonus gold and 80 on Vise, but Orianna's about to get caught out.
Absolutely, Sonic Wave into that death sentence, and that was really a death sentence right there. And he manages to get a stun off on towards Kale, but Kale's just going to ride that dark passage to safety.
Darius looking to join the fight, but it looks like he might be a bit too late.
Absolutely, miles too
Light's
late.
already over, mate.
You can't come in with a Noxian Guillotine if there's nothing to use your guillotine on.
But Jinx split pushing bottom lane. It looks like Siva's going back around to stop that. Stopping away on the wolves first.
There's a ward over on towards this blue buff. Vi is forced to Vault Breaker away. Who's going to get the blue buff here? Do you reckon there's going to be a fight on for this one? Oh, the Death Sentence does fine. The only hunt was popped. Can they get the damage down to the Dornish? So Mega Death Rocket will be available for sure, but they managed to pick up Annie in the meantime. Jinx gets the reset from Siva. She can't chase through. Vi is going to dodge that Super Mega Death Rocket. But Goat Rat picks himself up a kill, and now the siege on towards this mid turret.
Yeah, so this mid turret's going to go down, and
but they managed to pick up Kale. So Shockwave does.
Oh wow, well done.
Yeah, congratulations, Orianna. You picked yourself up your team's 5th kill. It's now 20-5.
Going to push up towards this inhibitor turret. Can Darius get some resets though?
If he can, on towards the right targets, he's going to be looking for Lol Aggression. Doesn't quite pick him up, and Jinx makes the damage deficit in the meantime to take him out. And not quite the reset he was looking for.
No, not quite. Just didn't quite have enough damage. Thresh only had 1 bleed stack on him from the Decimate. All Darius's other auto attacks went onto other champions. So don't forget that Darius's ultimate, the damage does scale off the number of bleed stacks he has on you, up to double damage at 5 stacks. So if you have a lot of bleed stacks on you when fighting a Darius, you really want to disengage and let those wear off.
So there was no fight over the blue buff. I was just watching that one. They donated to Goat Rat. Oh. I wanted to see a fight for it. I wanted to see popping abilities.
But the dragon's about to come up, and looks like... Are they going to head towards it?
No,
looks like Kale's just going onto Orianna in the mid lane.
It's the GG well plays coming out. The 5 votes for 0 surrender. Unlucky towards the Scrubz. They did prove that they lived up to their name in this game. Probably not what they were hoping.
Wow,
but
that's mean.
That is mean. I'm sorry, guys. Should have named yourselves the Scrubz. I'm sorry.
That's so mean.
Oh, I'm sad now. Okay, guys. This is Oceanic Tournaments, and we will be up next with our grand final. It is going to be Orbit Prime versus the victor from that last match, DarkWolf. Don't go anywhere. I'm Ranconius, he's Invisi, and we've got one hell of a grand final match coming your way. We'll be right back in just a second.